Today we're going to be talking about Bible commentaries. We're going to do introductory discussion on basic Bible commentaries for average person. Now, there are two main categories of commentaries. There's cultural commentaries, and then there's actual textual commentaries. The cultural commentaries is something like this one. This is the IVP Bible Background Commentary on the New Testament, and they also have an Old Testament version as well. For this one, if you open it up, there's going to be a specific passage that we're going to be talking about, and then from here it'll just discuss the relevant cultural ideas and concepts that you need to know. So this book doesn't necessarily tell you what the passage means, but it tells you the context and the environment from which you should draw from so that you can better understand the passage. So this commentary is kind of like a step up or supplement to the Cultural Background Study Bible. These two are very similar, except that the Cultural Background Study Bible, it also has the text of the Bible in it. So if I open this up, let's see. So at the top, this is going to be the passage in the Bible, and then the bottom is the cultural commentary. So as you can see, the comments are more abbreviated than in the standalone book on its own. Since both of these tend to be more scholarly and it has more of an objective basis, it doesn't necessarily go over any controversial topics in any resolvable manner. While these can be good to supplement and help you understand the background and what's going on of the Bible itself, it doesn't necessarily interpret or tell you the meaning or what the intended meaning of a passage can be. So sometimes if there's a controversial theological idea, they won't discuss this. Similarly, I think the Oxford Bible Atlas and the Unger's Bible Dictionary, these two resources provide very similar concepts and ideas to a standalone cultural commentary set. And if you can't find it in the study Bible, then I usually look in these Bible Dictionary or Atlas for information. And then if these don't have it, then I go to the standalone commentary, and then it tends to answer the questions that I may have in terms of background and context. So when I read the Bible, I'm starting to understand that there is this huge gap between what happened in the Bible and what our modern day society is like. And so it's really beneficial to kind of dive deep into that world, immerse yourself in that kind of world and mindset, so that when you read the words on the page, it makes better sense given the context. And that way it's easier for you to interpret what the passage is trying to say, given the specific context and situation that it's in. So the second type of commentary is kind of one that is based on the text, and that helps you interpret what the passages are telling you. And these two I have before you are kind of 1 volume / 2 volume commentaries on the entire Bible. And the Bible Knowledge Commentary is pretty popular, and the New Bible Commentary is fairly new, has more scholarly basis on it. And I like to use both because it kind of gives two different perspectives on similar passages. If you lean a particular stance, then you may prefer one commentary over the other, just because if you want to have your beliefs in line with, let's say, your specific denomination or your church, and you really want to know what they believe, then it's probably better to get a commentary that is in line with their views. If you don't mind that and want a little bit more critical comparison, so you have a larger view of the topic or the argument, just to kind of see both sides of the debate, what is going on, then I suggest getting both, because I think this is a good starting point, and it kind of helps you out to see where they lie on both sides. Even though both commentaries are quite thick, it's kind of on the majority of the Bible. So like they're going to expand upon what's already in the Bible and kind of clarify certain things that can be confusing or things that we may not be aware of. These are really helpful for me if I am reading something and I have a question. I look to a study Bible, can't find the answer there, then I dive into this, and that clarifies it a lot. I should also mention that the Bible Knowledge Commentary comes in 2 volumes. There's an Old Testament and a New Testament set, and it just goes over everything in the entire Bible. So now the last kind of set of commentaries I'm talking about is primarily going through an exegetical style commentary. So these are commentaries where they kind of look into the words and meanings and phrases in the Bible and then try to give you an interpretation and help you understand what's going on. So I have the MacArthur Study Bible here, and this is primarily to demonstrate or be representative of pastors or certain theologians who have their own study Bible. And these are usually kind of like the pastor's notes on passages in the Bible. Now I have the MacArthur Study Bible, which has some of his notes, but it's pretty abbreviated. And you can also get his standalone commentaries, which go into more depth about certain passages. My very first dive into commentaries was with John MacArthur. And so that's kind of where this kind of started the ball rolling into getting into commentaries. And the more you read about his commentaries, the more you understand like his thought process and all of that. And if you are aligned with John MacArthur and you understand and believe what he says, then that would be a great path for you. And same with any other pastor that you really want to know their thoughts, then that's a great avenue to get their perspective on the Bible. I have since moved away from pastor-only commentaries because I want something that has a little bit more meat and not primarily from one person in particular, unless they're kind of on a more scholarly level. And so that brings me to these book-specific commentaries. So I have two here on the book of Mark. This one is the Tyndale New Testament commentary series, and this one is just on the book of Mark. And it's just considered more of a introductory level type of commentary. It doesn't necessarily dive into the Greek and kind of parse things out and check the grammar and all of that stuff, but rather it really tries to summarize the passage and how people understood these passages historically and how you can apply it to your life. The Tyndale series is really helpful in building kind of Bible studies and like very introductory topics, and just give you ways to apply the passages in a easy way. So for this commentary, let's see, we'll go over here. So this is about authority over death, Jairus' daughter. Mark 5:35 to 43. So it tells you the passage, kind of a summary of it, and kind of the context that's going on, and the commentary. And it also goes over the theology. It tends to do this kind of context, comment, and theology section for each passage in the text. I find it really helpful because you can just look at a specific passage and then kind of get a good understanding of what's going on. One of the good things about this type of commentary is that it does give footnotes and references to other books that it's gotten these ideas from. So if you want to dive deeper in a specific topic, you can look into bibliography and find out, you know, the book where they got this idea from or this concept from, and then you can look into it further. So it kind of gives you a starting point to kind of dig deeper into a certain passage or a certain word or concept. Now, the last type of commentary is this exegetical commentary on the New Testament. This is made by Zondervan, and it's specifically on the book of Mark. And this is a pretty hefty tome here, as you can see. And if we open it up, it actually goes pretty detailed. So I find this book really useful because, like, for example, this particular passage, it gives the context, there's a main idea, it has the translation structure of what's going on, an outline of the text, and then it explains the text in commentary fashion, like line by line of what's going on and why. And it also has footnotes. So it also goes into like the actual Greek word and text to kind of explain what's going on. And the thing I like is that it has this kind of theology and application. So it kind of tells you about like ways to apply this text and what the theology is behind it. And kind of each passage is kind of set and built up in this way. So this tends to be the most thorough and complete of the commentaries that I've seen thus far. And it tends to answer the questions that I have that, you know, none of the other previous resources have answered before. So I thought that's super useful, especially if you dive super deep into studying the word, because sometimes you may encounter things that these study notes on more introductory resources, they don't necessarily answer, because they kind of cover like the 80% of questions that people tend to have on these passages. And I think like the remaining 20% of the questions that we may have, maybe a little bit more nuanced, not necessarily like core to theology or core to your faith, but it's just kind of good things to know. That's where you will find it in a book specific commentary like this. I have been really enjoying going through the book of Mark this way, and it really clarifies my understanding of a lot of things that have been going on. This is just something that I have found valuable because the more you study something, the more you want to know more about it. And I think as you keep going, you'll realize that you'd want to go deeper. You want to dive closer to the original languages. You want to understand all the nuances and the meaning behind things and the range of understanding and interpretation that goes on. So I'm just kind of walking you through the basics of Bible commentaries. And this is kind of from my perspective, which is a layperson, not a pastor or a professional Bible teacher, but rather just a person trying to learn more about God and what the Bible says. These are kind of the resources that I've been using and have been finding very useful and beneficial to me. So hopefully it will be helpful for you as well. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if you have any resources that you find are very useful as well, I'd love to know. Please write them in the comments. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.